Good day, everyone. We are the group 6 of the Social Science 9 subject, and we are going to discuss today about human rights. The members of the group 6 are Kate Andolong, Denver Hoybia, Christabelle Obnial, and James Garcia.
The moral principles or norms for certain standards of a human behavior and are regularly protected in a municipal and international law are what we call human rights. This also pertains to the civil and political rights of a person. This is adopted from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of the United Nations. The rights of the Filipino are expressed in Article 3 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, which is also called as the Bill of Rights. With the help of the Bill of Rights, which is under the Article 3 of the 1987 Constitution, this helps us Filipinos to have rights and privileges which the Constitution has to protect you no matter what. When it comes to rights and privileges, there are 22 sections that are present for a Filipino citizens. So let us review this one. So under the Article 3 Bill of Rights section of Article 3, these are the following 22 sections of the Bill of Rights. Number 1 or Section 1, right to life. Section 2 is right against unreasonable searches and seizures. Section 3 states every person has the right to keep his communication or correspondence a secret. Section 4 states a freedom of speech, right to a free press, freedom of assembly, and the right of petition. 5. Freedom of religion. 6. The liberty of abode and right to travel. Section 7. The right to information. Section 8. Right to form associations. 9. The right to just compensation. 10. Non-impingement clause. 11. Free access to court. 12. Right of person under custodial investigation. 13. The right to bail and against excessive bail. 14 states rights of the accused or right to due process of law of criminal case. This is where innocent is waiting until it's proven guilty. So section 15 says writ to habeas corpus. 16. Right to speedy disposition of cases. 17. Right against self-incrimination. 18. The right to political beliefs and aspirations. 19. The prohibition against cruel or disregarding of inhuman punishment. 20. Non-imprisonment for debts. 21. Right against double jeopardy. And lastly, the ex post facto law and bill of the attainder.
As humans, we must practice human rights in our country, and we must know the different rights in our country. Well, aside from that, we must know how to practice them and nurture them.
Following are some specific examples of practices of human rights in the Philippines. The fight against torture by police and other security forces. Torture and cruel, inhuman, or humiliating treatment are prohibited without the person's full, free, and informed permission. They are detained and subjected to medical or scientific experimentation or treatment. A person must not be tortured or abused in a cruel, inhuman, or humiliating manner according to the Human Rights Act. The awareness and practice of the standards stipulated in the labor code, such as wages, monetary benefits, hours of work, leaves, rest days, and other benefits. According to Article 83 of the Labor Code, an employee's usual working hours cannot exceed 8 hours per day. The goal of this act is to establish standards for working conditions that are consistent with the Constitution, so ensuring and increasing workers' living standards and promoting a well-balanced national economy. Protection of the rights of indigenous peoples. Indigenous peoples and individuals are free and equal to all other peoples and individuals, and have the right to be free from discrimination in the exercise of their rights, including discrimination based on indigenous origin or identity. Non-discrimination on the employment of women. Women have the right to earn a fair and equal wage, and they have the right to live free from violence, slavery, and discrimination.
Following are some instances of reported violations of human rights of the Filipino people. Number 1. The declaration of martial law gave the armed forces the power to suppress rebellion. There were reported cases of disappearances, extrajudicial killings, and massacres. During martial law, it was one of the most one of the country's most very controversial issue before with President Ferdinand Marcos. It was really hard for people that time, and considering the survivors now, for them to speak up about what has happened before is really heartbreaking, knowing that many people were killed, many people were lost, a lot of people, most of the there were, as said in number 6, disappearances and murders of journalists, which were true because during that time Marcos didn't want the media to know about what was happening. As said in number 2, the release of information to the public was strictly censored, which prevented journalists from releasing articles about the administration. And as I've read about articles about during the martial law, it was said that these journalists who wanted to share about what was happening during the martial law, they were prohibited, and if the Marcoses found out that a simple article was released about martial law during that time while martial law was happening, these journalists, newscasters, they would be killed basically. And it is very sad during martial law because every basic human right was taken away from them, wherein they did not know what was gonna happen. As said in number 5, the Lumad people in Mindanao experienced challenges in their education, property, and security because of the increasing military activities in their areas, which led to their displacement in their communities. So these Lumad people in Mindanao were very challenged because every child and every person has the right to education, has the right to work, and has the right to freedom, basically. And because of because of the military activities that were happening, they were really affected. Because they couldn't study or even go to work because of the scare that was happening during that time. So these are just some instances of reported violations of the human rights. And it is very sad knowing that our country has gone through some of these and at the worst times. But human rights shouldn't be taken away. I mean, the rights of a human shouldn't be taken away from one person because it is very essential, and we all have the right to freedom, to work, to study, and there's so much more to human rights. The Department of Justice is the principal law agency of the Philippines. It performs the following functions. Number 1, to investigate crimes and prosecutes offenders through the National Bureau of Investigation or NBI and the National Prosecution Service or the NPS. Number 2, to serve as the legal representative of the government of the Philippines, HTWOO. Number 3, to provide free legal assistance and representation to indigents and poor litigants. Number 4, to promote, develop, and expand the resolution of the disagreements between people or groups. Number 5, to perform other functions that include witness protection, anti-human trafficking, assisting rape victims, and maintaining the organizational structure boot OMAL. As we all know, DOJ or the Department of Justice are the ones that enforces law and ensures public safety to defend the United States from both foreign and domestic threats. Commission on Human Rights. The Commission on Human Rights is an independent office provided for in the Philippine Constitution to investigate all forms of human rights violations involving the civil and political rights of the Philippines. The following are the different programs handled by the Commission of Human Rights. Number 1, Human Rights Protection Programs. Number 2, the provision of the Human Rights Education Curriculum. Number 3, creation of an environment for poverty reduction. So the CHR or Commission on Human Rights has a lot of responsibilities in our country. So their power is to investigate any complaint by any party, all forms of human rights violations involving civil and political rights. So basically, they can investigate anything that is connected with human rights, especially concerning education, work, or anything that is connected with human rights, basically. So the last one would be the DOLE or the Department of Labor and Employment. The Department of Labor and Employment aims to protect and promote the welfare of Filipino workers both in the country and abroad. The following services are offered by the Department of Labor and Employment. Number 1, job search assistance. Number 2, capacity building services for livelihood and employability of workers in the informal and other specific sectors. Social partnership promotion and dispute resolution services. Number 3, skills competency, productive training, TechVoc education services to safeguard fair and just terms and conditions of employment. Number 4, social protection and welfare services for workers in the informal and other specific sectors. Number 5, work accident or illnesses prevention, work compensation and rehabilitation services. As we all know, DOLE is responsible for all of the workers from may it be government or companies like factory workers, and the common workers with DOLE are the OFWs, wherein DOLE is responsible for them in taking care of their welfare, especially to the OFWs who are some who are being abused internationally. DOLE are the ones that will help them to they are the one who can help these workers come back to the Philippines or send them off to another country which can help them work and earn for a living. That is all for the report of the Group 6 about human rights, and we do believe that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Thank you so much and have a good day.